All right. Well, I hope you took a little bit of a break between screencast one and this one. And please, I don't think I said this at the end of the last one. If you ever have any questions about anything you see or hear or read, please send me an email. All I ask is that you look everywhere first. If I don't ask you to do that at the top of the class, at the very beginning of the semester, I allow a certain sort of me doing your work for you to sort of permeate through our relationship, and I don't want that. I want you to be responsible for your own learning, sort of above all else. So make sure you look everywhere, but if there's something that I can clear up for you, please send me an email. Um, so please make sure with the personal introductions, please make sure you take this step. I cannot access, if you just copy and paste the URL of your Google Slides slideshow, you don't allow anyone else to view it. So that kind of defeats the purpose of what we're talking about in terms of getting to know everybody quickly. Okay, so read the guide to writing. So back to number 7 here. The invention journal is one of the cooler, I think, features of College Comp 2. They're very sort of nebulous assignments that I use for various purposes throughout the semester. You'll do 10 of them, and more or less, I always kind of go through and make tweaks as I see, as I feel appropriate. But you can see all 10 here. And almost every one of them is accompanied by at least 3 examples of what I'm looking for, except for the ones that are like kind of highly personal or that can be successfully completed in like any way. So you have to complete by next Monday. This one here, is it too big? It's probably too big. Let's go down to 125. All right, editing in action. Okay, so compose a short piece. So if you want to record something, I will watch your recordings just like I expect you to watch mine. Oh, am I still on here? Oops. Let's hide me. So a short piece, so 750 words or 3 minutes of you talking, in video form or audio form, that answers at least some of these questions. There's so many ways to be successful here, but I want to hit the ground running. What role does technology play in your life? What devices do you use? How often do you use them? What was the role in American culture? So again, macro and micro, big and little questions. And then questions you have about College Comp 2 or anything else I need to know before we proceed. So if you don't have any questions, if you're not confused or scared by anything, then you can skip those last 2. But you can do anything here. There's a list of acceptable online formats for this class, online presentation options. So feel free to slide through those, check them out, click on them however you like. And if there's ever any other sorts of software out there, especially free or open source, that I can take advantage of in this class or that we can take advantage of, let me know. So complete Invention Journal 1. It's writing about yourself, so hopefully that's not too taxing an assignment. So you got to do a little writing about yourself and a little bit of reading and writing for this first week of our time together. So for those of you that have had me before, this assignment should look fairly familiar to you. You got to do a number of reader response assignments. I think you have to do 3 of them. I have to check. I'm sorry, I can't remember. I know comp you have to do 4 of them. So you're going to choose a reading. You're going to make your reader response at least 500 words. Spend a little bit of time summarizing and then a lot of time analyzing what you've read. And then basically what I want you thinking about is the success and its goals. Every piece of writing has a goal in mind, just like movies have goals. Comedies are supposed to make you, laugh, and romances are supposed to make you, feel romantic, I guess. Horror movies scare you, and on and on. Writing's the same way. You have to choose for yourself kind of what you think the goal of the article is, and then analyze and discuss how successful or not that piece of writing is in its goal. So I like open-ended assignments, so I'll leave it at that, although I do, of course, provide a very nice example of what I'm looking for. So by the time I record this and the time you watch it, there may be a bit more of a gap. So this agenda may look a little different than it does now. But for the most part, choose something off of this list. Okay, and I'll probably add more to it. Some of these are a couple years old. Some of these I found today, and some I may find tomorrow by the time you see them. So go ahead and pick one of these. they're not all over the place. A lot of them are about personal technology use, smartphones, that sort of thing, media use. And some of them are also just about what knowledge means in a digital age. And I think that's an important question. It's not a question I'm going to force feed you all semester long, but I think it's a question worth considering from time to time. And it's a question I'll ask you to consider in some larger forms, maybe in your essays in a slightly more formal way, let's say. So you pick one. If you find another one that's sort of, that's interesting to you and you can make some sort of connection to digital technology, go right ahead. And just send me a link to the article or include it in your reader response that will be in your Google Drive folder. Coffee is really hot. Good, good, good. Okay, so we're kind of rounding third here. Essay 1. So if you want to take a break, we're about 6 minutes in again. I'm going to talk about Essay 1 now. Your very first grade, big graded assignment, 10% of your final grade, something like that. Observing technology use. Let me make this a little bit bigger again. My default, of course, is 100%. So when I do screencasts, I like them to be a little bigger in case you're watching them on a tablet or, God forbid, on a smartboard. Okay, observing technology use. So I talked in the first part of my screencast about going out and gathering data yourself. And that's what you're going to do here. You're going to gather data. You're going to observe either a community or a location. And the kinds of technology, and by that technology, I would like you to stick with personal, personal digital devices, smartphones, screens, that sort of thing for the most part. And of course, there's other ways to define personal digital technology. Of course, there's video games and gaming, mini gaming consoles and activity trackers, that sort of thing, Fitbits, smartwatches, and so phones is a great place to start, but it doesn't. We don't have to stay there the whole time. So community or location, and then I'll have more to say about that here in a moment. But you'll take detailed field notes, and those will actually form the basis of an invention journal that you'll be doing very soon. You'll take those notes and you'll create a thick description of your observation. So the point is here, you are doing an observation. I'm not. Your reader is not. So you need to provide a description that's thick enough that your reader can come away with a reasonable impression of what you saw and how you saw it. And the best way to do that is to take really good field notes. And then you take those field notes and you, it's called the constant comparative method if we were going to talk sort of sociology. But you take your notes and you tease out what's called a thick description from them. You describe things thickly. I hope it kind of speaks for itself. Then you will compose and revise an essay that shares your large-scale and small-scale findings about technology use and your chosen community or location. So it's really going to be tied up in the purpose or the goals of the place you observe or the group you observe. And from there, you're going to make an argumentative point. And it can't just be people look at their phones too much, like, or people look at their phones a lot. Like there's really not a whole lot of argument there. We'll have plenty more to say about that once you choose a location, choose a community. You have some decisions to make before we can really get into the argumentative aspects of the assignment. So some students choose option 1, observing a community. Your textbook is maybe a little more closely aligned with that particular approach. So there's all sorts of different groups. I can help you find a group. But if you want to watch a group of people do their thing, that could be like workplaces too, if that's not too intrusive, or if you can get sort of, if you can be granted permission to observe people working, in a specific place, that'd be fine by me. If you're really interested in studying group dynamics, I applaud that in you, and I will help you find a group that is to both of our satisfactions. Most students, though, and I'll say for better more than for worse, but by far the more popular option is choosing a location. Basically, groups, they meet and maybe they don't meet often enough, or maybe your schedules don't line up. A location really is a location, and you can go to it at any time. And for the best students out there, you can go there multiple times. So choosing a location where you can see lots of people is a good idea. If you pick, I don't know, it's January, so if you pick like a park, there's some people at the park this time of year, but you're not going to see the types of people that you would if you went in, even April, let alone, June. So, you want to make sure that your location is wisely chosen. Another coffee sip. Public places are great. Public gathering places, libraries, parks, businesses are great too. coffee shops. A lot of people choose like Belden Village Mall or Newtown Mall. Or Panera Breads, that sort of thing. And I think that's a fine place to start because you think about what the goal of like a Panera Bread is. Yes, it's to get something to eat, but it's also usually to bring your laptop and get some work done. Sometimes it's to catch up with other people that you haven't seen. And well, what if you see two people who are obviously there to catch up and they just spend their whole time tapping into their phones? What does that tell you about how important it is to be seen together? That sort of thing. So I think locations can work great. One that cannot work great is your school. If you are a high school student and you're listening to this, and hopefully you'll see it as well when you read it, you are not to observe your school. That is too simplistic. I'd be happy to give you a much longer answer, but don't do it. Find a better place. Use your brain a little more. Let's see. So we'll have, in the coming weeks, I'll have things to say about taking notes, but you want to take a notebook and you want to write down your impressions. Typing is okay if you want to bring your laptop and type them out. Lots of people are successful with that. Lots of people like the old pen and pad as well, though. For various reasons. You could take if it's like a place that's in public and you're not going to get like weird looks or worse for taking pictures, then snapping a couple of pictures not a bad idea. Record anything that seems noteworthy to you. You write down the big stuff, you write down the small stuff, and then you don't know what's important yet. You can't know what's important about your notes until you get home and look at them. And you figure out what sorts of trends emerge from your notes. What sorts of what are called critical incidents that you want to unpack. Sometimes you'll have 2 or 3 moments that are really going to be the whole point of your essay, and you want to be able to describe those in a very detailed manner so that your reader can appreciate them in the same ways that you are appreciating them, that you're making sense of them. Then you analyze your data. I have a lot more to say about that later. And then you turn that pattern recognition into a coherent, eloquent, argumentative essay. And that's definitely going to be the hard part. Some people never, let me get my full face on here. If I can, let's see, I have to work on my kitchen today, so I'm trying to block my kitchen light. All right, important. If you don't have an argumentative point, if you just tell me the story of your observation, you are flunking this essay. It's just that simple. I'm going to say it in so many different ways, including the way I'm saying it right now, making you make awkward eye contact with me on a screen. If you just write, I went to Starbucks from 8 a.m. to noon on a Saturday, here are the things I saw at the end, that paper flunks. I'm looking for an argument. I'm looking for a little more depth of thought. This is a 200 level class after all, and we're going to act like it. All right, mean part over. Let's see. You can read the rest of this later. These questions that you should consider, they're going to come up later once you have some data. So don't worry if some of that stuff is a little past your comprehension of it just yet. That's okay. That's not a bad place to be. You need to choose an observation option as quickly as you can, because the more times you go, the more data you gather. If you just go and make one observation once the day before this essay is due, good luck. You're going to need it. There we go. There it is again. If you simply write up a report of what you observed, you are not passing. Let's see. So I'll have plenty more to say about essay 1. Once I see your places, I'm here to help with individual stuff all the time. So when I say like don't contact me unless you absolutely know where everything, you've looked everywhere, that doesn't apply at all to your personal choices for topics or your personal options as a writer. I want those emails all the time. So send me every question you have on, is this a good location? Would this group work? What sort of notes should I be taking? That sort of thing. Send me an email. I always want those. So you got 3 chapters to read in your textbook. I don't really teach from the textbook too much because I'm, I guess, too old and stubborn like that. But I expect you to be responsible for the knowledge in the textbook, and it will come out of your grade if you're not. These additional greetings are going to be on the next couple of agendas, so I'm going to skip those for now. Since I'm, your College Credit Plus teacher, most of you, I am also your advisor for Stark State College. So if there's ever anything I can help you with, I have plenty of students that come visit me on campus that want a little tour, that want to talk about majors.